Thanksgiving! Yeah!
So excited.
Yes, I am filled of turkey stuffing and ramen, some leftovers. I'm going to see if I can bring up this overlay here too, real quick. Let's see, where's our overlay? No, it's not that one. Where's our overlay? I don't know where our overlay is.
You want that one?
That one? There we go. That's the right one. Hi, Megs. How are you, boo-boo?
I'm doing good. Enjoying all the lovely Thanksgiving leftovers, especially the cheesecake. That is the best. Absolute best type of Thanksgiving.
Are you really great when it comes to cooking? Are you a big cook?
It depends. Depends on what it is. I have done a fair amount of cooking. There are definitely some things that I'm good at. Baking, not as much, more cooking. But definitely dabble in multiple things.
Yeah, I'm really, really jealous. I am not very good at cooking. Lucas is the cook in our family, and that's one of the main reasons, I married him, because otherwise I'd starve to death. So,
there you go. I'm pretty good at the crock pot. Crock pot cooking is a big one for us, definitely. So.
Mm-hmm. I definitely agree. It's like we have an Instant Pot, but since moving and everything, we haven't used it in a long time. So I'm eager to get back into the swing of things and do some food prep and Instant Pot it up. But anyway, this is like low key become the Thanksgiving leftovers podcast here at C2A. Yes. What's up, guys? Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I'm Alex Mag, part of the Call to Action crew, and I'm here with absolutely wonderful Megs, Stats Queen here at C2A and beyond. And we're going to be breaking down the final two matches before we go into the finale, the grand finale, the big mama of the team's tournament that is about to be released on Patreon, or I think
it should be coming out sometime today. I heard. As far as the $10 and above Patreon should be getting that sometime today, if not already. I haven't checked mine to be sure, but. As far as I know, it hasn't been released yet, but it is coming. So we've been told.
It is coming. Watching these matches, I actually rewatched both of these matches earlier today, and it just reaffirmed my big thesis for both of this. I didn't come up with individual theses. I came up with one big thesis for it.
Okay, so. Excellent. Excited.
Stay tuned. Also, guys, everyone in the chat, we would love to know what is your match thesis. And thank you so much for hanging out with us. Ben Rayner, Danny Cost, Jake, what up, my dude, Dean Morgan, Weston Arrow, thank you so much. Jeff Alterman, and appreciate you. So we're going to go ahead and dive into the match. So before we actually do our little watch along, essentially, we are going to go ahead and start from the very beginning. We're going to let you guys know this is going to be full of spoilers. There's going to be so much spoilers.
So many.
Yes. So if you have not seen it, okay, that's great. But I just want to give you a heads up. We're going to assume that you have. And so you got to get yourself together and go watch it, or be okay with having this be spoiled for you. So just want to let you know. So we're going to be starting with our first segment of the show before we dive into the match, which is Match My Stats. Oh, girl, Stats Queen. Hit me with some numbers, girl.
So we are going to dive into, we're going to be doing both the Odd Couple, Deception, and Founding Fathers Final Exam. We're going to dive into the Odd Couple and Deception first. So what we had here was the teams were tied at 16 coming out of round one, with Andreyko and Collins getting perfect rounds plus the bonus, and Snyder and Marisol McKee both getting 7 points. Deception is first to spin. They get spinner's choice, and they take Spike Lee going perfect, 12 for 12 points. The Odd Couple followed that up with also going 12 for 12 on Meryl Streep, which they spin on their first attempt on the wheel. Going into round three, they are tied at 28. Already an amazing match here. Marisol is able to answer her 2-pointer in Will Smith, and Draco answers a 2-pointer in Disney after a challenge is ruled in his favor, giving him a new question. We'll talk more about that later. Collins is unable to answer his 3-pointer in Spy Movies, and Deception can't pull a 2-pointer in Tom Cruise, leaving Snyder to win the game with a 3-pointer in Sports for a final score of 33-30. The Odd Couple answered 24 out of 25 questions for 96% accuracy and scored 94% of 35 available points. Deception answered 23 out of 26 questions for 88.5% accuracy and scored 75% of 40 available points. Oh my goodness.
Gosh, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
This is a big match. This is a weird match. This is a fun match. Oh my gosh, Megs, looking at the numbers.
Yes.
Knowing this is so we have two very different types of team. Now, I just want to go by the numbers specifically.
Yes.
Before we kind of dive into the personalities and all that good stuff. Is that the Odd Couple, they are a very classic schmodown team. They've been together for multiple seasons now. I think this is their second or
it's their third. They were brought together in Anarchy in 2018. So this is their third season playing together.
That's right. 100%. Thank you, Megs. And, it just really, and they kind of fell off the wagon for a minute, as a team. And, this tournament really kind of put them back in the spotlight, per se, as that really kind of showed. And this is I feel like this is a year of the rookies, but the Odd Couple has been really going down and everyone's kind of rallying behind the Odd Couple specifically as one of the original schmodown personality that pretty much that shows the two fans that older competitors, more established competitors can hold their own against a lot of these new incoming rookies,
Absolutely. And the run Snyder went on during the singles tournament and then Draco had a really good run as well. So they've just, as a whole, they've been able to hang the whole season. They were part of the match that set the new high team score record. They unfortunately lost to Who's the Boss in that match, but they were right there with them and pushed them to set that new record. So this whole year, they have really been showing us some pretty impressive stuff.
Not kidding. Super duper impressive overall. I also kind of want to mention, thank you so much for letting us know, D-Train.
Nice.
Just released the team's tournament finale on Patreon as we speak. So I'm going to check that out later here in a bit.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. But definitely agree with you. The Snyder's Revenge Tour. I'm excited to see that finale, how that's going to go. Okay.
Yes.
And now, going up against the Deception, this is a team, this is their second match ever. So by comparison, you don't really have as much data to collect on such a rookie team. You have a lot of data, obviously, on these individual competitors, but coming together is obviously a very different situation. So what did you think about their performance from a numbers perspective, Megs?
As far as Deceptions go, they are a very solid team. We knew that Collins kind of came in as a whirlwind, coming into the singles tournament, just decimating everyone in his path. And Marisol was no joke either. She put up a tough fight. So we figured that the two of them, their collective knowledge was going to be excellent. It was how they were going to work together as a team was going to be kind of the big kind of question mark that a lot of people had on their minds going into this match and going into their previous match. And they're showing together very well. I've been very impressed with their chemistry on screen, how they're able to communicate and go back and forth. So I'm super excited.
Absolutely. They definitely prove that even though they are rookies, they can hang with the best of them. And I think that's something that's really kind of difficult to do as a rookie, going into a team's tournament. It can be much more difficult as a rookie because a lot of that communication, and especially working with another rookie, that can be very difficult to do, right from the get-go. Chemistry isn't there right away. You don't have that relationship, with the other or maybe it's the manager or whatever the situation is, but right away,
absolutely.
Well, I think their shit together.
Yeah, and I think this just backs up your thesis from the other week that Shannon is one of the best managers for a rookie team because
fact.
I think that is definitely being proven here. So.
Yes, because I do think it's really, really great to remember is that, not only it's kind of proven, it's just solidified even more so with the success of Deception, even though they did lose. Again, spoilers, obviously.
Well, here's the thing. And something that we'll notice going into these two matches, both teams that lost put up really impressive percentages. I mean, I was saying earlier, 88.5% accuracy for a losing team is ridiculous. They tied the most recent highest accuracy for a losing team in the team's division, and it only has been surpassed by another match that we're going to talk about here shortly. So definitely, I think someone said here earlier, yeah, listen, this felt like this could have been a finals match as well. Definitely
percent agree. This isn't my thesis, but one of my big takeaways from that match in particular, because I actually preferred this match over the other match against Founding Fathers versus Final Exam, is that this match in particular, it's a great match. It's a weird match. It's a fun match again.
Absolutely.
There was a lot of drama. There was a lot of tension. There was a lot of again, communications. There was a lot of stuff going on on screen that I was really excited and genuinely excited to get back into it. I haven't watched matches I feel like forever, not only with the holidays, but I've been moving and boxing and stuff. So Schmoedown, honestly, for the past few weeks, kind of taking a back pedal. So I haven't been up to date and watching all that many matches or anything in a while. So, but watching this match, I was like, oh,
yes, thoroughly enjoyed this match. Absolutely. So
yeah. What so much Lee mentioned, Weston Howard's kind of coming in with a lot of the really great comments over in the chat. So thank you so much. He says, Deception is a team that's too dangerous to be left together if you're on a different faction. Very
interesting.
True.
Yes.
Very true. So with that being said, I would be heartbroken if they ended up being separated after such really fantastic debuts.
Absolutely. Yeah. So then,
I don't want that to happen. I don't want it to happen.
So yeah, that kind of, so you mentioned earlier, I'd like to that's a nice segue to jump into match thesis. You said that you had one for kind of both teams or for both matches. So do you want to kind of save yours till we move into the next one, or because I have one for each match?
Oh yeah, I can just say mine right now. Honestly, so these matches really not only solidified how great the individual teams are, but honestly, both of these matches proved to me, not only is this to me the greatest teams tournament we've ever had in Schmoedown, but I think in the future, all these teams will have a belt at some point.
Ooh.
That's a big takeaway, but I can easily picture Deception winning a team's belt easily. Odd Couple, obviously. Again, a belt again. Final Exam, it's going to happen. It's a matter of time. And also Founding Fathers. And now they have had the belt before, so I'll count that.
Yes.
But
well, and so is Odd Couple, so.
Exactly. But they can 100% get the belt again if they decided that a manager or whatever may be ended up getting drafted together. So sure, they ended up losing the belt earlier this year. But that doesn't mean they're not a great team. They defended the belt, and they're a good team, guys. It was kind of frustrating to hear Roca talk about that a little bit, like in his post-match interviews.
Yeah,
he was like, maybe this isn't working. I'm like, you lost one match. Calm down.
Yeah, and I think that's something I definitely would love to dive into once we kind of start breaking down that match in particular. Kind of my big takeaway from this match is that the Odd Couple is the most likely to be kept together of the 4 remaining teams that have come out of Anarchy.
Oh.
Now you ask, why is it...
What do you mean? It's like coming out from the draft?
So of the 4 teams that are still a standing team as they were in Anarchy, they are the most likely of those 4 teams to actually come out of the draft a still intact team.
For next season?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're not talking about anarchy, you're talking specifically about the draft.
Yeah,
Like
so,
all the 4 teams.
but I'm just saying, of the 4 teams that were established in anarchy that are still active, of those 4 teams that are still in play, Founding Fathers, Corruption, Who's the Boss, and The Odd Couple is the most likely to not get split up during the draft.
I also think that I feel like that's kind of a given, to be honest. I feel like
it could be. It could be.
I feel like it's just. I feel like that's like very obvious, all things considering. Just compared to other teams, like Founding Fathers, you know, you heard it. Maybe they're just not great together. Maybe they did okay, but I mean, like, and their version of okay is still really great. Just want to, you know, just clarify. But that Who's the Boss obviously is no more.
Which is very sad for me.
But
I love
but also,
too.
I think something you cannot argue is that Roxy is obsessed with the Odd.
She loves her boys. That she does.
I remember a lot of people being like, maybe they should split up and pursue like other team options and stuff. I know that's a really big conversation. I remember a lot of people being like, Roxy is not, you know, really showing really great management, you know, initiative by, you know, being bold and doing that. And I'm like, that's baloney, because clearly they are fantastic together. They have before and they will continue. So that was I remember that being very frustrating when people say that.
Yes. and something else that's been very interesting, kind of that guided this thesis, is when you look at the Odd Couple from a numbers perspective, and I think I mentioned this the last time we broke down an Odd Couple match, that they have been consistently improving every year that they've been together. Now you ask, that's a pretty bold statement. How in the world did you come to that conclusion? Well, I am very glad you asked, because...
Oh, wait.
Oh, wow. What happened there?
I don't know what this is, but that's okay.
Oh, there you are. Okay, so let's try... Oops.
Okay, I'll take off the overlay real quick. There you go.
Okay. Let's do that. There we are. So what this is, this is an inside scoop into my master sheet of stats here. So what you're looking at right here, as I'm kind of coming across this line right here, is their accuracies. When you look at when they started in 2018, they had a overall accuracy of approximately 67%. During their first year. So like 61, 76, 62, 66%. You jump into 2019, their numbers jumped up to a 79% general accuracy overall. 87, 71, 75. Then you jump into this year, 2020. They are at a approximately 90% accuracy. 95, 80, 88, 92, 96. Alex, this is a approximately 10% increase in accuracy each year that they've been a team.
And now, is that the average? Like,
yes.
Average percentage increase?
Yeah, so average percentage increase is 10%. So they jumped from an average of approximately 70% their first year. The next year, they were averaging about 80% accuracy. This year, they're averaging approximately 90%.
That is insane.
It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
To say that they are improving, not only individually, but as a team, is to put it mildly. Now, Ben Ritter, he did kind of show something over in the chat real quickly earlier that says, is there such thing as being too loyal? And I say yes. There is such a thing, you know, where you know, let's be honest, a lot of you know, I feel like this happens you know, in real life, you know, I mean, just like Schmodown is not real life. I mean, let's be honest, but there is such thing as too loyal, specifically because you know, sometimes if you are too loyal, it is a bad thing for the competitors and yourself, where you're really not doing yourself or your competitors a service to improve. Because sometimes, competitors or managers will improve, with different personalities, different competitors, or whatever the situation is. And just because you're loyal to someone because you're friends or you've worked with them for a while, it doesn't mean that you need to continue. It's just like, if I have had a bank account at the same bank for the last 10 years, but I have better financial options, transferring my account to a different bank, rather than my current bank that's not making any initiative to really keep me on. Why wouldn't I want to go to the other option, to the second bank? I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
100% too loyal.
Yes.
Now, we are going to be going into the match itself. We're going to be going to the first round, the Dewberry round, the spin is in, sexy numbers as well, all that good stuff. Is there any other information from the numbers or anything you kind of want to get your point across real fast?
Yeah, no, I think those numbers kind of spoke for themselves as far as the odd couple in particular. Deception are absolutely no slouch. I mean, they're averaging about 90% in their rookie season.
Yes.
Accuracy. So nothing to scoff at there. It's just interesting to have looked at the odd couple over their 3-season run as a team to see what they did.
Yes.
But absolutely nothing against what Deception has done at all. We've just only seen a smaller amount of matches to pull from, but definitely they have made a big splash in this league thus far, and super excited to see what they do moving forward.
Absolutely. I think it's proven from these two matches that to me, okay, honestly, my big takeaway is that Roxy is going to draft the odd couple in her first round as part of her core. As that's going to be her some of her first round pick. She's going to keep him as a team. She's gonna draft him as a team, Shannon did Corruption, but.
Well, she would probably keep them as her first signings in free agency versus drafting them. Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Which that's going to take a little bit of getting used to phrasing. But anyways, I digress.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a really interesting draft.
The off season,
whenever that happens, it's gonna be weird and again fun, and I'm really curious to see how that's gonna really happen. Since we can't really do a lot of the same things, obviously, as compared to earlier this year. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and dive into the first match, and again, we're gonna be skipping over the promos and all that good stuff. So, I do want to give you a heads up. We're not gonna we are gonna maybe chat a little bit about the promos while we watch the match, but we're also going to keep it on mute as well. So definitely keep that in mind, while we're going to be chatting over it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this here. All right. I'm going to play it around.
Yeah. So jumping here into round 1.
Oh, whoopsie. Oh, whoopsie. Wrong one. I was like, why isn't it playing? And then I realized I was playing the wrong match. Whoops.
Oh, the other match. It's coming. That one's coming. But yes,
now,
go ahead.
I do want to mention real quickly, guys, if you have any questions, comments, or again, we would love to know your match theses or any theses you guys might have regarding any competitors or managers, whatever it may be. We would love to hear it in Streamlab or a super chat. Streamlabs preferably, just because they don't take the percentage, out compared to super chat does. But we would appreciate anything you guys might have to offer. This is an interesting one. Not to mention, this really. And Draco and Adam, they're on par with each other. They both get the perfect first round in this match, obviously, and also getting the bonus question for both of them as well, compared to getting 7 out of the 8 from both the competitors, Jeff and Marisol. So it's really. They're really on the same page here, from being a veteran team versus a rookie team. You don't see that very often.
Yeah, and the fact that both Snyder and Marisol miss the same question. It's the comedy question on question 6, which is very interesting.
I was so proud I knew that question. I was so proud. I totally guessed it. I having never seen the movie. But I was very proud nonetheless. I was I got a question that Jeff didn't. Oh,
goodness.
That's never going to happen. That's never going to happen again, but still.
You take them while you got them.
Exactly. Now, also something kind of make note of is that the Odd Couple, looking at their record, I totally forgot about how many matches they played until I saw that number. They've 11 matches total.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure now, because Snyder obviously had his big run with the Patriots, if I recall, Frankie Nemba's already put out that he has played in the most teams matches. Total.
He's played it almost over 20, I think.
It's more
20
than that.
matches.
It's more than that.
Yeah, I say over 20.
Yeah.
Okay, something I do want to highlight for a split second.
Oh, this.
Okay,
so we're already 1990s. Daniel Day-Lewis.
This is like the fifth question. Sorry, yeah, the Daniel Day-Lewis question.
Yes,
I looked it up.
This is dramas, yes.
She is correct.
She is. Absolutely.
That is technically the way you do it. And by extension, technically, everyone else is incorrect. So
Technically.
It is Daniel Day-Lewis. So it was kind of funny that Jeff kind of saw that and he wanted to potentially challenge Marisol. I think it was just more to get in her head more than anything.
Based on the way he was presenting, I doubted he was actually going to fully challenge. He was going to let Roxy talk him out of it. It's all head games. It's what he does. But very interesting.
Head games?
I know that it's so unusual for him. But yes, they definitely were throwing all sorts of different tricks in the book. But I think it is interesting that technically she was the only one to get it fully correct. Down to all the hyphenations.
Legally correct compared to everyone else.
Yes.
Yeah, so I do think it was. I actually do think it was actually kind of smart on Jeff to not only put, because I think Jeff is also one of the very few competitors out there where he'd be like, you know what, I'm gonna throw out the option that I could challenge just because it is a lot of the psychological warfare. He knows going into it. He's not exactly someone that can get under their skin by making a few snippy comments, like with some other competitors. Nay. You got to do it in a new way to really get them rattled a little bit.
Absolutely.
And
he's
also,
always scheming behind those eyes.
Always scheming. It's always scheming. Adam also, for being someone that's so methodical. Is that the word? Methodical?
Yes.
He's so methodical. I feel like he's very similar to kind of Dan Murrell that way. He's not a guy that's all about the character. He's not all about, performance, promos. I think they're actually, quite good at them, for what they do. But they're not going to do the character or anything.
He's not an over-the-top character. No.
Compared to, say, Snyder.
Yes.
I feel like that's something I feel like Snyder is wonderful at. He's able to really put on a really stellar performance in the actual match as well, compared to a lot of competitors. The moment, they start answering questions, the character is done. They're done. They're off,
Yep.
I love his picture in Mark Andrico.
Oh, yes.
Full top hat.
Always throwing in those little things. It's the little things that makes these matches fun.
Absolutely. I also do want to highlight for a split second that Marisol clearly has the best handwriting out of everyone.
Oh, absolutely. That has been well established. She has much better handwriting than I do. By far, definitely.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of these questions, I feel like these are really, really solid one-pointer questions, honestly. Sometimes there's one, maybe two questions that's maybe that could have been a 2-pointer, but these are solid 1-point questions.
Things have been
obviously Huck, things like that.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with the movie, you know, it's going to be a struggle for you, but they throw enough information in there to make it very gettable.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's like there was one question, I can't remember which round it was, but it was, I think it actually is in the first round, but it's a uncommonly long question. And I was like,
they've been throwing those long questions in there, and I think generally Mark has to read them, and I feel so bad every time.
Yeah. Yes, this is a question that really, up until now, everyone has had a perfect first round, 10 and 10, which is fantastic. Which 80s spoof comedy is known for the line, "Looks like I picked up the wrong week to quit sniffing glue"?
It's a great quote.
It's a great quote. It's a very iconic comedic quote. But this is the one that really, that Snyder and Marisol don't get. And so that really, that 1 point, hypothetically, that 1 point difference would have made a huge difference for sure.
The fact that they both missed it kept them tied going in, but that also negates the opportunity to extend a lead by 2 to 3. If she misses it, he gets it correct and goes on to get that perfect round and bonus. Now, this was one, I did not know it, but I felt like I should have known it. When I was hearing the question the first time, it's like, I know this should be iconic enough that I know this, but I could not pull it myself.
Yeah. And also spoof movies in the 80s. I feel like, honestly, when it comes to really popular 80s spoof movies, I feel like I can count like 10, like not even 10 of them, like 5 maybe. You know, Lethal Weapon franchise, you know, that one, Airplane, and Naked Gun. Sorry, the Naked Gun, not Lethal Weapon. Sorry, but you know what I'm talking about. There's very few and far between. So when you hear a comedic spoof of the 80s, there's only a handful to really choose from.
Indeed.
Oh, I hate this movie.
I'm not a horror girl, but in general, so usually this is where if I'm even close to a perfect round, this is where this usually tanks me.
I got this question. This is actually, I feel like this is a very political movie, Hostel. There's a lot of political things to say.
As soon as I saw the title, I'm like, oh, of course this is what this is. I did know of the movie, not a fan of it, but definitely knew of it pretty quickly.
Absolutely. And also there's a lot of love for Airplane over in the chat. You know, Airplane. Yes, Airplane we know is popular. We know.
It is. It is.
Now, I do kind of want to clarify is that they are both even, super duper even, and now then they are going into their final question before the bonus question. Oof,
here's this very long animated question.
This is a long one. I'm very proud that I knew this question right away, but like
I knew this one from Dakota Fanning. I think that was what tipped me off.
I knew this one from 2009 stop motion animated dark fantasy.
I'll say I think I was like, I'm pretty sure it's Coraline, and then as soon as I heard Dakota Fanning, I'm like, oh, it's definitely Coraline.
Yeah. I thought it was Coraline from the get-go, and then I heard Henry Selick, and I was like, yep. He did that one. He directed Nightmare Before Christmas, obviously. But he is fantastic. Yes. All right. So Adam and Draco are the only ones that are able to give their answer for the bonus question, and this is a huge moment. You know, and the question being, who plays Werewolf Boy Jacob Black in the Twilight franchise? You know, obviously Taylor Lautner, because we are women of a certain age. Okay.
Hey, it's when we grew up, we were well aware of these movies, if not lovers of them. So,
yes, I will fight people on this. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I will never argue or they're Oscar worthy. They're not amazing movies. They're not even great movies.
I don't think they were supposed to be, but for what they are, you can't deny their impact.
they're hugely impactful. They're hugely influential. And I love me some Catherine Hardwicke. Okay. I feel like she's a very underrated director. Now, we have two very different managers, about to chat it up. Sassy. I'm not a huge fan of it. Like there's two female managers and I really have to pit them against each other. I mean, come on, man, but whatever.
But they're up to the challenge.
Yeah, it's just stereotypical, but But these are two bold ass ladies. So, I'm excited for it. Roxy, she has been a manager of.
She is so underrated as a manager
for a while.
Mm-hmm. Well, since the 2018 Anarchy tournament.
Was she managing either one of them before that? Or was she assigned to them? Do you remember?
I believe she was assigned to them because prior to that, Andreyko was with the Fife Club. And I don't know if Roxy might have taken Snyder under her wing, but I know for sure Andreyko was not with her until then. I don't remember specifically about Snyder, but I know for a fact Andreyko wasn't. Mm-hmm. She did manage Mike in the DC movie news stuff, but I don't know if she managed anyone in between that. If she was managing anyone in between that, and because that was the same year as Anarchy when Mike had his turn. So I think actually I don't think she has managed either one of them prior to that.
Oh, good to know. Interesting. Yeah. And also, obviously, Shannon. This is Shannon's first year actually managing, and
as an official manager, yes,
officially. But you can definitely contribute their success. Getting not only the IG belt and teams belt, under as well as losing it, obviously, under her as well from last season.
Absolutely,
even when it was unofficial. Now. Shannon, her chat with them, Roxy, her approach with them is just being like, I love you guys. You guys are amazing, sexy numbers. You guys are sexy competitors.
Just keeping them focused.
Yeah, just keeping them focused. Shannon has a very different approach to this little conversation with, Lady Justice and the Coyote.
Yes, she does. Very much this is a reset. We're going to move forward. You're doing great. Or, let's just move on, leave whatever happened in that last run behind, and we're moving forward from here. And I love that approach.
Yes. That's what I actually really love about her as manager is that she is very methodical. And I feel like that's how I feel that way, whenever I manage as well. It's just I don't like having emotion put into it all that much unless I feel like my competitor needs it. Because
Absolutely.
because I'm just like one of those people that I don't like to add emotion to it because 9 times out of 10, let's face it, emotion means messy.
It very much can be.
It's not a good thing. It ain't a good thing. And 9 times out of 10. And, it's the same for a lot of sports and things like that as well. And I include Shimoda in that conversation.
So this is a very interesting wheel. They've now kind of brought it up here.
I'm going to pause it real quick.
Yeah, so let me see if it'll let me do this real quick. So what we have on this wheel is we have a Meryl Streep, a sports, musicals, Matt and Ben, SNL movies, Spike Lee, 90s, rom-coms, Inner Geekdom, and obviously Spinners and Opponent's Choice. Now, very, very interesting wheel. You have thoughts on what they could have potentially either team put on there? I have a couple average thoughts, but nothing really stuck.
I know exactly what they put on the wheel.
Well, then do tell.
100%. Musicals for Andreyko. Musicals and also Ben and Matt. It is, Snyder is a Boston boy. And as well as Andreyko. It's same as Roxy. It's a Boston-focused faction. Of course they're going to choose with Matt and Ben. And
absolutely.
Also, this wheel is also very much in their favor as well, just because not only is it musicals Bat and Men, but also in the 90s. He's actually done very well in the 90s in the past, but also, Meryl Streep. These are really good categories for The Odd Couple. Not to say that's a bad reel for Deception, I do want to clarify, but Deception, I honestly think their categories were Inner Geekdom and Spike Lee.
I would concur on that.
Yeah, so Marisol has mentioned that her low-key strengths are Denzel and Spike Lee. So I was like,
okay, I hear that. I'll say I definitely agree with Deception's choices that you said. Obviously, Enrico's going to want to put musicals on there. I was kind of batting back and forth between Matt and Ben and maybe SNL movies. For some reason, I was feeling that maybe for The Odd Couple, but Matt and Ben definitely makes sense. So I could definitely see those two being their choices.
I mean, it's Boston.
It's Bast. Absolutely.
Boston. Packer.
But oh my goodness. I mean, obviously Deception gets put in an amazing position, ending up with Spinner's Choice and going with one of their strengths they put on there being Spike Lee. And they did what you would want to do with a Spinner's Choice.
Oh.
Going perfect 12 for 12, not having to knock down to multiple choice once. Just beautiful execution.
I am praying that the Deception stays together next season by some miracle. Honestly. Now I've heard a lot of commotion being like, Shannon, shouldn't draft Corruption next season. And that knocks my teeth in a little bit when I hear that. Thing is, especially with Adam being like, the hot new competitor, with Corruption, but at the same time, and possibly with Deception taking over the role as like the big, team for Corruption, obviously. But
it's going to depend on, because she's going to have Chance going for the IG belt. So if he has that, you're kind of a fool not to retain him because he is a triple threat competitor. And then you're left with either you keep Corruption together and keep maybe only one of Deception and leave Laura out as your other big competitor. Or you take a chance of being able to pick up Mike in the draft and you keep Chance. I'm using Chance a lot, but Chance the competitor, and then you keep Deception together. The only other way I think that, because she's going to be so high up in the rankings, she's going to have to do some wheeling and dealing trading in order to take either of these two, if she has to drop either one of them in the draft or to leave them into the draft. She's got a pretty tough road ahead of her as far as who she's going to retain and being able to keep her core group together.
Yes, I do think that both Shannon and
Winston
have the most difficult decisions going into the draft next season. I do think that Winston does have a little more, it's a tad bit more difficult, just because they actively have not only the IG belt, but also,
that Star Wars shot.
They have a lot going for them. Not to say, obviously, Corruption isn't, that team Swag in particular, they're going to be competing in several, I don't know how this next match, goes, between the Odd Couple and Final Exam, but it could possibly be that if Final Exam wins, they could be having 3 Swag competitors in team going into the Spectacular. So that
Absolutely.
Is potentially an IG belt, a Star Wars belt, and the team's belt. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
With a rookie faction and a rookie manager?
Girl.
Insane.
It's ridiculous.
Amazing. It's fantastic.
It's
erroneous.
It's a great problem to have, but oh my goodness, is it a conundrum?
Very much so. I am also really eager to see, because there's some competitors like Chandra, for example, where, you know, like Roxy's been like trying to chat up Chandra a little bit. You know, there's been some side conversations.
Oh, I'm sure there's so many side conversations going on.
Many combos.
That's to be known. Now, this is a very interesting position we're in now, because Odd Couple's just coming back in for their round 2, and they now know that deception went perfect. So they're now in a very interesting position as from a strategy point of view. And again, I love how they navigate this second round. Their communication as a team, spot on.
Yeah, not only will they need to get a perfect perfect second round, but they shouldn't. It's preferred that they don't even go to multiple choice.
Exactly.
Once.
Right. Because, because you're automatically going to be down. And, you know, but that is kind of the gambit you're running, because if you want to swing for the fences, but if you're wrong and you give them a chance for a 2-point steal, that's a 4-point swing that you cannot afford against this team.
Huge. And Meryl Streep is, you know, just like a lot of actors, directors, specifically, you know, they can be, you know, there can be a very deceivingly difficult category just because there's Meryl Streep has been like in over, she's been in like over 70 movies. I just want to put that. Yeah, I just want to put that in the noggin, and over like half of them are Oscar nominated. That's a lot of movies. That's a lot of information to remember.
Her filmography goes very deep, and you don't. Again, she is a deceptive filmography, because you don't necessarily think of all those smaller movies that she was in. You think of the big
Flash.
Exactly. But yeah, there's definitely those that could really trip you up if you're not careful. And again, they navigate this well, not checking down. Now they almost make a very crucial mistake about, I'd say, halfway through. I think there is a question where Andraco is positive on an answer and Jeff goes, nope, that's not correct. And they trust each other, and it saves them big time.
Absolutely. That's a lot of trust. And I feel like that's very hard to have that kind of relationship as a team where you put pride aside and you're like, you are 100% right. Yes, you got it. And that's really hard to do, especially, you know, for any team, especially teams with, you know, big personalities such as this one. And I'm sorry, but this question was so flippin' easy. It was frustrating.
That first one? Or this one?
No, the first one. Just because she's voiced characters in like 3 movies. You don't even have 4 options. Like, what were the 4 multiple choice answers there? You know,
they could throw a curveball in there that could have been done by her. Again, she's got a deep filmography. You could think you're missing one.
No, I've looked at her filmography very recently. She's only been in like 3 animated movies.
I know, but as a competitor, you could think, am I missing one?
She's also only been in 1 sequel. She's not in any other sequel. There's no Julia to Julia. There's no Doubt 2, Silkwood Dose. There's none of that. She's only in 1 sequel, period. So I would be really, really curious to see how that would go down, unless it's like one of those situations where it's like anthology situation, like
maybe
like because I know she was in like the Unusual Adventures of that, whatever that movie was, with Jude Law and the kids. Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey's been weird.
Unfortunate events.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. I can't remember the full title, but yeah, I know.
But she was in that one, so I was like, maybe that one. But I mean, that they only did 1 of them, so it was like when I saw that, I was like,
yeah. I see where you're coming from.
This is a great question, though. I do. She doesn't. I feel like this is actually a movie people forget about in particular.
I think this is the one, if I remember correctly, this is the one that Mark and Snyder go back and forth on. Snyder, or Andreyko thinks he has it. Snyder says, yep, nope, it's this other one. Mm-hmm. So that definitely was teamwork.
That relationship. Teamwork, that you got to push away the pride. You got to work efficiently together. Mm-hmm. It's complicated. Love that movie.
It is complicated. Life this year, everything is complicated this year.
Yes, that is like pretty much it. John Krasinski, he plays her future son-in-law, and he's so cute.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. He's so cute. Another little Boston boy.
Little cutie.
With a Boston cat.
Mm-hmm. The cat.
Now, they're going to be going into the third and final round again, and the Odd Couple had a perfect second round. So, kudos, my dude. That's like, not only is it incredibly rare for teams to do this, but they didn't even go to multiple choice once, and that's fantastic. And these are very, very hard categories. Spike Lee, he's done a crazy amount of movies spanning over 3 decades, and Meryl Streep, 4 decades. Her first movie was in 1978. So,
absolutely.
These are huge filmographies from these characters. Absolutely. Really hard categories.
Very, very, very proud of that.
I'm waiting for Odd forever to become a hashtag on Twitch. Sorry, Twitter.
It probably will be. Once the free agency comes around in the draft, it'll start becoming a thing.
Mm-hmm. Playing the waiting game.
Mm-hmm. I am so excited for this off season.
All right, we're going to be going into our third round of the match. This is This is our final section from this match in particular, which is titled "Some Sexy Numbers," inspired by the ever lovely, obviously, Roxy Stryer.
Yes, of course.
Okay. Now, obviously, when it comes to picking these categories and picking these numbers, it's completely luck of the draw. You never know what you're going to get. Mm-hmm. Now, when it comes to picking these numbers, I know Jeff, he's been pissed off at it all times because it's I know his questions. I just didn't know mine. It kind of, that's a very difficult situation to be in. Obviously, it sucks. But it's really difficult. I can't imagine writing these questions for the third round. First and second are easy. It's the third one that's going to catch you,
Indeed. And the subjectivity, we hear talked about all the time, the subjectivity of one 5-pointer being considered so easy by one person to the next person you ask, it's a ungettable question, because so many of these are based on, have you seen the movie? How familiar are you with this particular movie? Mm-hmm. So definitely kudos to the writers for coming up with these questions, because it is very difficult to keep them relatively gettable, but still make them a very comparable, worthy 5, 3, and 2-pointer. The 2-pointers are fairly straightforward, but once you get into those 3s and 5s, it gets a little dicey.
It becomes incredibly weird and difficult. Not only just because of subjectivity, because in theory, 3 and 5-pointers are obviously more difficult than 2-pointers. Just like a 2-pointer is more difficult than 1-pointer, obviously. However, a 3 and 5-pointer kind of refers to sometimes if it's a surface level question like director, movie release date, or a cast member, it's from a movie that's not very popular. A movie that people forget about, maybe an indie movie, or just a movie that people just don't remember. So the movie being Far and Away being from the Tom Cruise movie.
Yes.
When people talk about their favorite Tom Cruise movies of all time,
it's probably not
the conversation.
It's not in the list. It's not on that list.
I say that as someone that really enjoys that movie. I really do. It's it's not a great movie, but I really enjoy it for what it is. I think it's a really cool movie.
Yes.
And And I feel like that makes it a really great 5-pointer.
Mm-hmm.
It is, again, a very surface level question. However, it's not a very popular movie, but also it's a casting question of someone that's not like one of the main characters, you know, it's someone that's
It's
not
one of
super duper popular.
Yep, it's one of those sub kind of minor leads that when I heard her name, I was like, I don't remember her from anything else.
I don't even know.
Yep.
Yeah, no clue.
So, but even now, we are going to get into, let's see, this Will Smith movie. I really enjoy Enemy of the State, so this one was pretty easy on this one.
It's a 2-pointer.
It is a fair 2-pointer. Absolutely.
It's a 2-pointer.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I didn't know this one, but I remember Gene Hackman was in it. Like I remember seeing him in the trailer, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So it's a very, I feel like it's a solid 2-pointer. We are going to be going into Jeff, or was it Andrika? This is an interesting moment as well, because we are going to witness what I think is a very easy question. A very easy question.
Mm-hmm.
However, I do agree that this is a very oddly worded question.
Yeah, I would agree.
Slightly misleading question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to which I knew this. I knew the answer, but I was confident enough in my answer that I'm like, okay, I know this is the answer, but why are they phrasing the question this way?
Exactly.
That was what was going through my head. I'm like, I know that they're wanting unbirthday, but why are they calling it a holiday when it's a event, not technically a holiday?
Absolutely. I also do think that, you know, it like, you know, because Mark Ellis kind of makes a joke of it where it's like, they sometimes there are government sanctioned holidays that celebrate birthdays. You know,
I will say, I love how he navigates these challenges because he does it so well, and you can't get mad at him because it's Mark Ellis.
Yeah, no, he's fantastic. I mean, like, I'm a little sad Molly's not there, so I'm a little mad at him. But you know, that's not something he can control. Let's be honest. Yeah, so I mean, I do think it's smart, but I do think it's incredibly. I mean, because I kept thinking, like, as a manager, I was like watching this, and I was like, wait. And Lucas, like, I was watching it with Lucas. We were eating dinner together, and he walked in, and he was like, challenge. and like 5 seconds later, Jeff said, "No, we're challenging that. Roxy, get in here." And I was like, "Good job, Lucas," because that's
very good.
Like, what? It's very funny to have like Lucas. He has these random outbursts, be like, "No, bad question." Whatever the situation is,
it's a valid question. I just think it could have been. We could have changed one of those words in there to make it a little more obvious, or not. Yeah. But also, you don't want to make it so obvious because it is a very specific thing to Alice in Wonderland.
Mm-hmm. So, it is very much so.
So you're walking a tightrope there, which again,
I do think the thing is, even if you haven't seen the movie, you know that song, you know that line.
You're at least somewhat familiar with the concept. Yes.
It's like one of those things that you're kind of you're taught about, like in preschool, kindergarten. Like I didn't see the movie Alice in Wonderland until I was like in 5th or 6th grade. But even before that, I knew like 80% of the songs, you know, just being a Disney kid growing up. Now, we did get a super chat a little bit ago.
Yes.
Thank you so much, my dude. All I know is that Spectacular is shaping up to be incredible. Couldn't agree more. Adam and Meryl is going to be insane. That Alice question is tricky, and I say unbirthday is not a holiday. Very much agree, Ben. Thank you so much for your generous donation. You're super awesome. We love you. Let's face it. Our birthdays should be kind of holidays.
I mean, I treat it like a week-long holiday, but
a week-long holiday.
Yeah, like just we just spread it out over a week. Just special things thrown in here and there. Nothing too big of a deal.
Yeah, there's also a lot of regional holidays. Like there's a Polish holiday here that we celebrate here in St. Louis. It's an official bank holiday, Polansky Day.
Oh, Really?
Yeah, it's Polanski Day, where people are off from school, banks are closed. It's a government sanctioned holidays, and it is but it's very regional to the Midwest and our area in Illinois, Missouri, and everything in particular, because we have massive populations of Polish people here in our neck of the woods. So yeah, regional holidays like that is very, very true.
All right. Learn something new every day. This 3-pointer, no clue.
I've never seen the movie. Who co-stars with Leonardo DiCaprio and Russell Crowe as the Jordanian security official Hani Salam in 2008's Body of Lies. Again, I feel like this is a solid 3-pointer. I really, really do. This is a movie people forget about. I believe it's directed by Ridley Scott.
I feel like I knew the name Body of Lies, but I knew nothing about it.
Yes. I feel like it's not a super duper popular movie. I feel like if you are really into spy movies or something, I've been told it's a really great movie.
Yeah,
but
heard good things about it, but it doesn't come up often.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We are going to be going over to so they're going to be going into the next question.
So I think they jump over to Jeff. They decide to give Snyder his 3-pointer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which
I had no idea what this was. I had no clue.
I think I only knew this one. I'm trying to think. How did I know this one? Because I know Field of Dreams really well, and it gets referenced and kind of around the mythology of Field of Dreams is also this book and this movie. So I think—
Is it really? Field of Dreams is based off that?
No, it's Field of Dreams tells about the White Sox players that are featured in that book. So it's kind of by proxy they're connected because they're talking about similar characters.
Got it. That makes sense.
But yeah, so now they've gone up 33-30. This final 5-pointer, which it's a 5-pointer. And this is
Who plays Nora Christie in 1992's Far and Away? Now, what makes this a 5-point question, again, is that not a very popular movie. Happened a long time ago. And also, it's even mentioned, Adam Collins, he's like, it couldn't be Nicole Kidman, right?
Because she is the other lead, but you wouldn't be asking for the lead in that movie for a 5-pointer. That's where he's trying to decipher. He's trying to decipher that because he knows that she is in that movie, but is pretty sure that that's not who they're asking for. He's not positive on her character name enough to say, I know it's not her, but she's the only name I'm thinking of.
Yeah, there's not a bunch of people. It's not like Carrie Elwes is not casually hanging out in the background or anything like that.
Right.
This movie was when Ron Howard directed this movie, he wanted Tom Cruise to be the star. This was at a time where he really wanted to show off his acting chops, in the early mid 90s. And I feel like this movie, honestly, he does it. He shows that he is a really great actor. But people forget about these random movies, these little dramas that TC Legend has done. And that wraps up this match with the success of The Odd Couple. They'll be moving on to the next and moving on to the big finale of the team's tournament match.
The last semifinal before these finals, which is available to the 10 and up patrons. If you are not doing that, it is amazing. I love getting those matches early. Yes,
not kidding. It's pretty fantastic. Okay. All right. I'm just going to go ahead and take this off. That wraps up our section. Oh, I'm going to go ahead and take this off real quickly. What up? There we go. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and remove that little banner down there. Okay,
Yes.
I feel like we can actually save the Schmodown fan fiction segment of our show and kind of move that until after our next match. What do you think?
I think that's fair. I think
Fair?
we are good to move on into this next one. Founding Fathers versus Final Exam.
Oh, girl.
Titans of the game.
Titans indeed. So, girl, you got to tell me some stats on this match.
Yes, absolutely. So let me make sure I grab the right one. Yes, here we are. So, round one, the Founding Fathers are up 2 with 18 to Final Exam 16. Everyone except Lon, who scored 7, got a perfect round plus bonus. So 3 perfect rounds here. Round 2, the Founding Fathers spin away from movie quotes. They end up taking Eddie Murphy, going 7 out of 12, leaving 2 questions available for steals, which the Final Exam take advantage of for 3 points of steals. Final Exam on their spin go away from movie quotes and end up on Spinner's Choice. They take Audrey Hepburn, going 11 out of 12, only going down to multiple choice once, coming away with 14 total points in that round. So the Founding Fathers are down going into round 3 by 5 with a score of 25 to 30. Roca answers his 2-pointer in Will Smith. Meryl misses his 3-pointer in dance movies. They are able to answer their 5-pointer in the 1980s category, where Lon and Oyama are able to respond by answering their 2 and 3-pointer in horror and Oscars, respectively, to win with a score of 35 to 32. Final Exam answered 26 of 27 questions for 96% accuracy, scoring 92% of 38 available points. Founding Fathers answered 24 of 27 questions for 89% accuracy and scored 80% of 40 available points. Oh my goodness.
Whoopsie daisy. I'm going to go ahead and take that off real quick.
Okay. No problem. But anyways, again, listening to the losing team's accuracy, the last match was 88.5%, which at that point was the highest or tied for the highest percent accuracy for a losing team. Founding Fathers scored 89% accuracy. They now have the highest accuracy percentage in a team's match for a team that ultimately lost the match. Is this not a stacked teams tournament? There are no slouchers in this tournament.
Yeah, I was kind of joking with Lucas earlier when we were eating our dinner, where again he was just like challenge. He's an English major. He was an English major in college, and so he like whenever he hears like something off like that, he points it out real quick. But he even when we were watching this match earlier as well, we even chat about it where we both I turned to Lucas and I was like, babe, you and I both know that Lon is no slouch, but Paul is running this match, and I'm so excited.
Absolutely.
I'm so excited because Lon is amazing. He clearly is killing it, obviously. But Paul, oh my gosh, he is rocking it. And I'm so excited for him. We have him back, and he's amazing, and he's killing it. Oh, I'm so excited that he's getting a lot of his confidence. This is not a new idea regarding him, but it's just so great to see.
He's getting back in a nice groove here, and it's great to see. He's kind of gone through his ups and downs with his character and his gameplay, but he feels like he's in a really nice groove right now. And again, he and Lon do work really well together, but they also have this trust of, you know what, hey, Paul, I'm going to let you take this second round category because I know you got this. And Paul says, okay, Lon, I'll let you take this 2-point horror question because I know you need to get this question.
Yes.
So awesome. So awesome to see that work. And Founding Fathers even, again, 89% accuracy is no joke. We'll get into a little bit more of the intricacies of what kind of maybe derailed a little bit for them during this match, but not a bad showing by any stretch of the imagination. Not something they necessarily need to be ashamed of. Just some crucial speed bumps that cost them ultimately.
Well, something I do want to highlight is that, before we kind of dive into the match again, is that I do highlight a few moments, not only from the stats, because otherwise we wouldn't really have a chance to really talk about it at all, is that at the very beginning of the match, there was a little
Oh, yes. Preview tell.
From our Lord and Savior Andrew Guy. Just putting this out there.
Yes, do tell.
Because we didn't really get a chance to talk about it last time. Okay.
No.
All right. Okay.
That's fine.
All right.
Let's talk about this.
In the last match, there was a little moment where he has his glasses, he has his button-down shirt, and he's like, "Guys, 2020 has been a fucking year. There's been a lot going on, and and I am no exception. You know, this has just been a rough, situation, not only for everyone, but also for me as well. And I'm trying really hard. Obviously, a lot of things are happening, and the Schmominati. I thought I knew my shit, but clearly not. And I just want to apologize to everyone. Suddenly, he gets a mysterious call.
Yes.
From who? You may wonder. We don't know. And
loving that face, by the way.
Just like screenshot it. and suddenly he's like, priorities, dude. Priorities. I gotta go. I'm sorry. I'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Yeah. He splits.
He's out. He's gone. Okay.
Yes.
He's like he's Spain in World War II. Okay. He's going over to I can't believe it. With a war history reference. There's no showdown. Like, what am I doing?
Hey, we're rolling with it.
Just going. And then suddenly going into this match, Father's first final exam.
Yes.
It opens up on Andrew Guy again. He's coming in with the board. Guys.
Yeah. I got this.
I got shit. I do. Again, I want to apologize for my outbursts, my behavior, and everything. However, guys, I have some information, some serious stuff. And as a result, and I'm hoping, oh my gosh, you know what I would love to see? Okay. He's also been like, he pull up his board and everything. He's like, the Schmominati. It's real. It's back again. We're going to get a Schmominati storyboard. And I'm so excited. And I think we're going to get a Schmominati faction. This has actually become like low key our Schmodown fan fiction section.
We're gonna work it in.
We're gonna get a Schmominati faction for next season with Andrew Guy as manager. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm expecting to happen. Okay.
I could see it. I definitely could see it. Very interesting that he's kind of his initial kind of reasoning through his thought process was a little mirroring of Anarchy, actually, because he was trying to figure out, at first he thought it was Christian. Why would Christian do this? And we find out with Anarchy Tournament, little spoilers versus Schmodown history, that Christian actually was the man behind the whole Anarchy Tournament and everything that went on there. So a little homage to some Schmodown history there, but I don't think that we're going to repeat history here. There's going to be something very different in play, and I am all here for it because I love the numbers, but give me a good storyline any other day.
I'll take it any day rather than any other day. I just really do.
Very true.
I honestly, I'm also like one of those Schmodown fans. Is that honestly, I understand it's a sport and everything. However, when it comes to, look at that. Schmominati is mentioned and let's get that internet sketch, Well, yeah, so I do think that's something to kind of consider. I also think Andrew Guy, Schmodown's in a very different situation right now. And but he also mentioned that Schmodown is also going to be exclusively in studio from now on. It's not going to be digital matches.
As far as the teams division?
Yeah, yes. The teams division specifically, exclusively. Yeah. Yes. But I do think Andrew Guy, obviously he's really, really excited about that, so that'll be interesting to see that happen. Okay.
Absolutely.
So let's just kind of get back to it. Let's go to go back to where we were before, which is, match thesis specifically.
Yes.
Now, you had a thesis before. What's your thesis for this match?
So this one actually is a little bit interesting. It's very specific to this match and specifically related to round 2, where this is the most spin biased wheel we have seen all season. Now, because when we get into, I figured I would get a good reaction out of you for this.
Good one. I think it. That's a sexy thesis. Okay, screw the numbers. That's a sexy thesis, girl.
So when you look at what slices were spun, we had movie quotes twice, we had Eddie Murphy, and Spinner's Choice. You look at the wheel for that match. Movie quotes, Eddie Murphy, and Spinner's Choice, all right in a row.
Wait, put that back up.
Yeah.
Put that back up.
So it's on movie quotes, which was spun twice. So you spin movie quotes first, fine. You spin again, you get Eddie Murphy. Okay. You spin again, you get movie quotes again. You spin again, you get Spinner's Choice. All 3 slices that are spun are right next to each other.
Girl, are you uncovering a conspiracy right now? Because I think you just did.
It has been very consistent all season. There have not been any, but just I noticed this match. I started watching, I'm like, the randomization algorithm's a little less than random.
The algorithm, yes, sexy thesis right there. Good job, Megs. Something I do want to mention is that this is not an algorithm they come up with. They probably usually a website or something that they create,
and not
or like wheel site or something.
Yeah, and again, during this whole season, we haven't seen that. It just happened to be that this match, when I looked at all the slices that were spun, I noticed that they were all right next to each other, which is a little odd. It happens.
Exactly. It's a weird. Yeah, the wheel is sus.
It's a little sus. Little suspect.
Little sus. Is that how you say it? I don't play Among Us. No, is it sus?
I'll say I'm not up on that one, so I couldn't tell you.
World ladies.
I don't know if that necessarily has anything to do with it, but
actually, it's like I believe it's at the age of 32 or 34. Apparently, as we get older, though, starting at that age, we actually start not caring as much about technology and keeping ourselves up to date with technology, because at that point we're so set in our ways as far as like what we use, whether it be our cell phones, computers, whatever it may be. We don't want to go through the process of learning something all over again because we're so set in our ways. Is at that age.
I'm a little early for that, but I can see I can see the beginnings of it, though.
It's a whole thing that's been studied by numerous universities, studying technology and the relationship with people of a certain age. But it's true. It's true. All right.
There's only so many hours in a day I can devote to things. So if I already have my day full, sorry, this new thing's gonna have to take a back seat for a little bit until I can offload something.
Take a back seat. Priorities. And Schmodown is it a beggar for priorities? Wow, that was rough. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started, with the match itself. Do you have any final words to say before we start breaking down this match?
No, I think I dropped my one big bomb for today, so we can leave it there.
Girl, that is a bomb indeed. Guys, again, spoilers ahead. We're just going to hang out and chat.
Absolutely.
Skipping over. Now, this is a great match.
Absolutely. I am going to pull off. I will still keep my mic going, but I'm going to pull off my camera for just a moment. But just keep ramping on here.
Keep ramping on. Hey guys, I'm just gonna chat with you guys over here as well. Called the karaoke. Yo, I haven't done karaoke in I feel like ages. I'm also scared to do karaoke in my new place because I'm in a duplex and I don't want to be judged, by my neighbors. So That's my thoughts. That's my thoughts, and so I kind of feel bad. Now, this is also kind of an interesting lineup because, Lon, obviously, he's never, as far as I know, he hasn't really gone up against in either a team or in singles against Dan Murrell, obviously, or against John Roca. So this is a very new experience, and I love that little dog action with Taco. What's up, Taco? And also with Oyama. Oyama has beaten Dangerous Dan Murrell before, but not in a teams match before. So this is Dana's kind of looking to redeem himself against Oyama quite a little bit. Yes. Yeah, Megs is checking her tech for more Shmominati meddling. Yes, you got it. That's absolutely correct. Oh, I'm just going to go ahead and take off that. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, Megan Fox being the first question and answer. I do love me some Megan Fox. I feel like she's incredibly underrated as an actress. I'll just take off that banner real quick. Now, there we go.
Yep.
All right. Now we're just going into the third question. And Emily Watson play romantic interest in what 2002 romantic dramedy? I'm so happy this question was asked.
Yes.
It's also an easy question, but I feel like that's the point. It's a one-pointer.
It is a one-pointer that comes to reason.
It's a solid one-pointer. And do you have any comments on whether or not you had more Shmominati meddling?
It was meddling of my own doing because I did not insert the proper cords when I was setting my equipment up for today. So that was of my own undoing. So sure. I have no further comment.
Sure. I see.
As I'm twitching.
We're going into the third question being, this would be question, actually, I think I just realized it should say question number 5 at this point, I guess. Because
dramas? Dramas is the third question.
No, I'm thinking of singles because I was like,
yes,
number 3
because you're looking at the score.
Yeah, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Forget me. I was like, what?
Absolutely.
I have not seen this movie, but I was very proud I knew this question, the answer to this being Dustin Hoffman, just because I was looking up this movie not too long ago.
Oh, very good.
Yes. Now, which of these competitors do you feel like has more to prove as an individual competitor?
Very good question. Has more to prove.
I feel like individually they do have quite a bit to approve. I mean, like Lon a little bit less so, since that would go against everything his character is. Dangerous Dan Murrell, I feel like he has we haven't really seen him succeed, as efficiently outside of singles all that much. He's only been 2 singles matches this year, and he defended the singles belt, obviously, really fantastic.
Right.
And he lost the team's belt. And Oyama, I feel like he's really looking to redeem himself in teams, since obviously the singles didn't work out as much. But John Roca is honestly, to me, the one that's looking to redeem himself.
I'll say he was one that was kind of knee-jerk reaction, was who I was thinking of, because he's, as I think he mentioned in his pre-interview, that he has played well, but he hasn't gotten a lot of wins this season, and kind of those moral victories of, hey, I played well, I just didn't get the W. He doesn't value those as much right now because he needs to win to reestablish that status of him being that top tier competitor, and reaffirming that he has been and is still should be considered a top tier competitor.
I do wonder, there are certain competitors that ended up becoming managers that didn't succeed as being a competitor, so they ended up being a manager, such as Winston and Coy, obviously, and they are fantastic as managers.
Absolutely.
I feel like they thrive so much more so as managers. However, I do wonder, there's been a lot of conversation about whether or not John Roca should consider managing or advising instead. And I would have to say, I don't know if I could see John Roca being a really great manager, to be honest. What do you think?
I could see him being an advisor, but I don't see him being the manager. I don't quite see him having that type of personality to fit in, because you have to have a very specific way of being able to kind of roll with punches and being able to adapt to your competitors. Not saying that Rocha couldn't learn to do that, but that hasn't necessarily been his MO as a competitor. He tends to.
Sorry, I'm going to turn off the camera and mute myself for a split second. I apologize.
No
You can keep chatting with everyone in the thing. I'm
so we're just going to keep talking about here about a little bit of for Rocha as a singles competitor and potentially moving into as a manager. It seems like he just doesn't quite have the drive to really. He's led factions as far as being in that older generation of competitors back in earlier seasons, but kind of how there is a this push towards managers being much more strategic. I don't know, there's just something that I don't quite see Rocha fitting into that. Yes, Weston, now Alex has to go check things out. We're running a little bit longer than we normally do.
No, I just got wine.
Oh, look at that.
Lucas got me wine.
Oh, look at that. Look at that man. I'm over here with my coffee that I picked up on my way in here. So,
that's real. That's just
real. Very important. What would he get you?
I have a Cabernet Sauvignon.
Sauvignon.
I don't know what that means. Anyway, okay, so I know what you're saying, and I do agree with you a lot of aspects about John Rocha. It's like, I don't know. Thing is, I do think he is naturally a leader, but thing is, I don't know, and I feel like
the strategy and working with different competitors, maybe not quite as much his strong suit. He will lead characters from a personality standpoint, but as far as game strategy. Even some of the things I saw in this match, once we get into the second round, that the round got away from them, basically.
I totally agree with you. The thing is, okay, I do want to mention, this has nothing to do with being a good manager. Just because you have study sessions on your own with your patrons does not mean you're going to be a good manager or be a good leader for a team. Absolutely not. In order to be a good manager, you have to be able to know how to manage multiple personalities, different people, their different kind of styles of factions, and be able to lead them effectively. But I've also heard from multiple competitors what makes them thrive under their manager and that kind of management style is because they know how and when to apply pressure if needed. They're not going to be on their ass the entire time. They're not going to be messaging them like 10 times a day and be like, hey, what did you watch today? What's your plan to watch it next week or whatever it may be? That's not what they're doing in order to be a good manager. Because if you're going to be managing someone like Bibbs, that's not going to happen. No, that's just not going to work out. And I feel like Rocha, being the guy that is, just because if you have having study sessions has nothing to do with being a manager. You can, sure, that helps. It helps build a lot of community between and team building between the faction, but that doesn't always translate to efficient management.
And again, those are things that he could learn over time, but I don't immediately see him sliding into a manager role and having instant success if he doesn't have competitors that are like-minded.
Exactly.
And that's all we're saying here with that. Not saying that he couldn't ultimately become good, but I don't see that being an instant great fit for him.
Let's got to be honest here. I mean, there's a lot of managers because a lot of the great like Coy and Winston, for example, they do not put a lot of pressure on their people. They have study sessions, as far as I've been told, once a week. That's it. And they would only go on for like an hour or two. And regarding, what their game plan is and strategy, but it's very little actual study sessions. And that's really worked out for them, to be honest, being a really great game. Obviously, it's not New Winston. And same, actually, Winston, that's what they do. For swag, they have little study sessions, but they don't really be like, they don't like actively drive the knowledge in like that. You know, they don't do like Ben Bateman and, you know, Ben, Craig Gainier, John Roca. They actively like having those study sessions and everything, which I think is fantastic for them.
Absolutely.
Ben will become a manager though. 100%. At one point, he will. That's a matter of time.
It is a matter of time.
Whenever like he's just like, I can't dedicate all the time to studying and everything, he's going to manage. You know, I do think Ben is able to honestly lead very, very efficiently. He knows when to back off from a competitor, and I don't know if John can. You know,
that is an interesting aspect of
that's what I've been told.
The manager.
Yeah, that's what I've been told from people that he's kind of led.
Okay, very good. Well, very interesting. We are again, we've come out of round 2, or out of round 1 going into round 2.
Oh my gosh.
Founding Fathers are able to be up by 2, and they actually decide to spin first, which is slightly different from what they normally do. Typically, they do a lot of deferring, but they decide to spin first here, which is a very interesting strategy. Very, very interesting.
I think it's because they look at that wheel and they realize the wheel is statistically it's in their favor. There's more categories in the wheel that are in their favor compared to categories that are not in their favor. So they're like, hey, if we want to pick the ones that are best for us, you know, we should definitely go first.
Speaking of which, do you want to check out that wheel again just to see what all's on there?
Yeah, let's whip up that wheel. Let's kind of go over the stats real quick.
Yeah, so what we got here, again, we have talked in depth about my little theory on what happens with this wheel ultimately, but we have movie quotes, James Bond, Judd Apatow, 2010's Oscars, crime, Audrey Hepburn, westerns, festival darlings, Eddie Murphy, and spinners and opponent's choice. Thoughts on what each team put on that wheel?
I would have to say I think Lon 100% chose Judd Apatow, and Paul chose, I do think Paul chose Audrey Hepburn. I feel like that's a given.
Yeah, I was kind of going back and forth for them between obviously Audrey Hepburn because they choose that on Spinner's Choice, but I was kind of going back and forth between Judd Apatow and maybe even Festival Darlings. They've taken Festival Darlings in the past or earlier in this tournament and have done very well with it, so they could have also done that as well. For Founding Fathers, I was thinking westerns. Obviously, Roca, very much is into that category, and then. Potentially something like James Bond. If Dan Merle is very confident in that, he could have gone there. Any other thoughts on that?
To be completely honest, I literally before you said anything, I literally circled Bond and westerns.
Very good.
I literally did. I was
on the same page then.
Yeah, it's like I was like literally. I was like going through. I was like, yeah, I know, yeah, because it was that or crime. Because I know, I figure out like Dan Merle. He before he's been going to movie festivals and stuff for years, and so I feel like Festival Darlings might have been also a favorite. But you never know what you're going to get with Festival Darlings. It's a very risky category altogether.
Yes.
But Eddie Murphy I feel like it's I am not surprised that they ended up going with this category, but it is a very, very safe category by comparison.
Well, I'll say, and this is one that they ended up with this after they spun away from movie quotes, which unless you're an erudum and you're really locked in, you're not going to pick movie quotes.
Movie quotes is like dang near impossible. Like
it's another version of mixed bag, essentially. Because you can literally get anything.
Do people? Is mixed bag still technically a category? I know IG mixed bag is, but is regular mixed bag is?
I can't remember. I have seen the official list of what categories are on the table for this year, but I don't remember if mixed bag is still on there.
I have the category list.
Oh, do you?
Somewhere in the apartment, in the condo. Don't know where it is right now.
I have it on my computer somewhere. But anyways, yes, I think if nothing else, yeah, movie quotes is another version of a mixed bag that most people will, unless you have something else you absolutely dread, you don't stick with it. Now, up until this point, they're navigating this category decently well. They have checked down a multiple choice. Let's see, they're on question 4. So they did check down a multiple choice, and they ended up getting that one multiple choice wrong. I'm just pulling up what I had here. Yeah, so this one, they checked on multiple choice here, and they end up choosing the wrong option. They've already checked on a multiple choice once. So they're debating. And this, I think, is where things start kind of to derail a little bit. Because Roca is starting to lose a little bit of confidence here because he's not quite sure. Dan's not really able to help him a ton here. So it's really...
I feel very proud that I knew this question right away.
Oh, very good.
But that means also Jack Squat, and Schmoedown. I only knew it because the thing is, I didn't know her name. I was just like, that one chick that plays like Dark Phoenix and
right, yeah,
Jean Grey in the franchise.
Her name is not one that easily rolls off the tongue. No,
I remember being like, she's the chick that plays, she's in that Bond movie, Goldeneye, with the legs that strangle people.
Yeah, yeah,
that's how I remembered her. But I didn't remember her name. But once I heard it, I was like, that one.
Yes. So now they get the Oscars question, which I think if you know it all, that if you know ahead of time that you're getting this category as an option, checking out the Oscars should be a gimme for any competitor, that you're always going to double check their Oscars. Yeah. Now this question 6, they know it's one of 2. Tell me, would you not? Now, I've heard this mentioned a couple different times, so this is not an original idea from mine, but would you not, if you're not completely positive if it's one or the other, check down a multiple choice. You know that both those options are going to be in there, more than likely. But if you're wrong, you're only giving away 1 point, not 2.
Yes. Okay, so honestly, I really think it kind of going to multiple choice is kind of like a weird thing because if you go to multiple, it's like, for example, if you go to multiple choice and the answer is like 1, 2, 3, or 4, like you know it's 1, 2, 3, or 4, like, but obviously if you go down to 8, if you go down to multiple choice, those are the 4 options, but you already know all those options. So it kind of defeats the purpose. However, you're doing that not so much for yourself. You're doing that to help narrow it down the answers for you, but you really just want to use it so you can make sure your opponent doesn't get the potential 2 points, because that is huge. When you're going against a team like the final exam, you got to have your shit together. And I don't feel like they made the best strategic pull there, honestly.
And I understand that they're trying to go for the fences because they've already had to chuck down a multiple choice twice. Yeah. They've missed one. Yes, you're already going to have damage done here. But you've just created, because also one of the things about this digital age for teams, your opponent gets told what you said the answer was, which automatically gives them, if you know the 2 options and you're already told, hey, they chose this one, you don't even have to think. You know automatically it's the other one. Which I think is part of one of the problems with doing it digitally this way is that you do get that added gimme in the steals to where you know what your opponent said versus having to really pay attention in studio and listen.
It's something to also remember is that these competitors, obviously, they're not exactly in the green room listening in. They're actually literally taken to another room where they can't even listen in or anything. Something to remember. So they're not even hearing them being like, well, it's either this one or this one. No, they would have to kind of work through the answers by themselves, but yeah, it's that much easier for them to kind of narrow down the answers when they know their opponent chose this one. But that's the nature of the game.
It is. And I say, Founding Fathers still an amazing team, but that is the, I think, most crucial strategic error that they made in this game. Because, getting into round 3, I'm not going to fault Dan for missing a 3-pointer in dance.
Yes.
Unless you're Bibiani.
Part AF category.
That's not a category that most people excel in.
Or Brianne Chandler.
It's very true. Absolutely. Shout out Miss Movies. But yeah, that was where that 4-point swing is where things kind of got not sealed, but you definitely were not put in the best position.
Ever since you mentioned your thesis, I have a hard time not saying that. It's so aggressive.
When I figured it out, I'm like, "Are you serious? I can't not say this. It's so obvious now. I can't not see this."
It's so clear.
Again, it doesn't happen. This is the only match that I've seen this happen.
That we remember.
I'm not going to go on a deep dive to find that out.
Thank you so much, Weston Ira. I appreciate that.
Aw.
All right.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily fault Tom in that one because that was an in-game decision that John and Dan made on their own. But anyways, again, still.
Yeah.
Now this category for them, Audrey Hepburn. I feel like Lon could have just laid back in that chair, stuck his feet up on the table, and just said, "Paul, go for it." I had a feeling that was what was going to happen.
Honestly, I did too, and I was very proud. I knew all of these questions.
Oh, very good.
I felt so proud. I was okay. No question. I knew all but one, and that was the War and Peace question with Henry Fonda. But I was one of my favorite movie remakes of all time was Sabrina. Funny Face. Funny Face is so weird, but I like it quite a bit. I was like, nay. It's a philosophy bookstore. Can you specify that for me? But Audrey Hepburn is a very, very difficult category. And I do think that I was actually very surprised. I was actually very thankful to see classics was not on the wheel, and that one of the classic actresses, such as Audrey Hepburn, obviously, is a much smarter category to put on the wheel over something like classics.
Yes, and I think, and honestly, I would like to think that Paul has kind of learned that. Where yes, I do have a pretty good handle on classics, but if I can narrow it down for myself.
Yes.
To one specific person, that gives me a much higher probability of not getting stuck in a situation like Spectacular, where he just had those classics questions he didn't know.
Classics is a category to me that honestly 100% deserves its own league, its own division. It's all genres, all directors, actors. You can have a bazillion, you can have 100, individual categories within the classics, genre. It's so weird that classics is considered a genre. Like what? A classic movie is different from a classic genre movie. There's modern classics. What the heck is a modern classic? I still don't know. Give me a list, dude. Give me a solid definition. I'm sorry, but is Pulp Fiction considered a modern classic? I think so. Yeah, technically, apparently, it's not.
Yeah, we could have a whole show talking about what is considered what in a category.
Historical epics. I can't.
Alex, the day that gets spun in a match, you and I are going to be taking detailed notes.
We're gonna be fist bumping. It's gonna be a magical day.
Yes.
I can't wait. I really can't. Now, I do kind of want to highlight the relationship between the final exam because Lon has mentioned numerous times is that Lon, he's the casual competitor of the two. He goes in with the knowledge. He goes in with the vibe and everything. Paul, he kind of needs someone like Lon to really kind of keep him mellow, keep things in perspective, and just kind of stay focused. Because he's like, as you can see him, he's moving. He's just like, ooh, he's intense. He has a lot of energy, and whenever he goes into like train or practice with Lon or kind of chat with strategy, Lon has told me numerous times how he's like, hey, this is my idea to what to put on the wheel. And Paul Oyama is like, actually, according to my book of stats and histories, that's like yay thick.
He's a student of the game.
That's a bad idea. That's a bad idea.
He is a student of the game, and I have mad respect for that. As a stats girl, I have mad respect for that.
Exactly. I love that about him. He is he's such a really fantastic student of the game, and I'm so excited for him to succeed. Coming from the fan leagues as well. It just really just kind of proves, there's a lot that's really, they're also like the epitome of a team that I don't want to say shows that age matters when it comes to putting together a team, because to me it doesn't, but it shows helps.
It shows the advantage of having a younger and older competitor on the same team. 100%. Absolutely. And another case in point, our current team's champ, which is Shazam. Same idea. Same idea.
And before that, Corruption.
Yes. Still a formidable team.
Now, I do also want to mention, but
yes,
in order to succeed, it doesn't mean it has to be a team of competitors that are different ages or ethnicities or genders or whatever it may be. It just means that statistically speaking, they're just much more likely to grow up with different types of, movies, favorite movies and genres and stuff like that. If you were on a team with exclusively guys, chances are you might not think costume like dramas. Sorry, I mean like romance or historical romance or whatever. But you're probably not going to think that's a strength like I will. But also, I would, if I was on a team of exclusively girls, statistically speaking, I'm probably not likely to be on a team with that action adventure is considered, a strength as well. So there's, again, it's not to say that it's set in stone, obviously. It's just, you're more or less likely to grow up with certain movies,
Yep, it gives you a higher likelihood that you are going to end up with a wider base of knowledge based on your two individual set of strengths. It's a much higher probability, but we've seen other teams that seem to be similar, but also do cover a very wide base. So, and also the fact of it could be interesting how if you have someone who is willing to put in the work to go into other areas. That is also another idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
And very, very, and yes, good point there by Andrew there about Femke, or how do you pronounce her?
I know she's a Danish actress, but that's all I got.
Got it. But yes.
I remember her from Nip Tuck, though. I do remember her from Nip Tuck. That show hasn't been around for a while, though.
It has been a minute since we saw that.
Yes. We are going to be going into our third and final round. Before they do that, they're going to be chatting up with their competitors. Obviously, the Founding Fathers going into the third and final round, they have a 5-point deficit. That's a huge difference.
Absolutely. Now I know, and also knowing that Oyama is such a big student of the game, he would have liked 6 points better. Because that guarantees a 6-point advantage better. Because he knows if he hadn't gone down to multiple choice in that last question, they'd be up by 6, which guarantees that Founding Fathers have to answer their 5 and a potential TKO situation. Just a little numbers analytics there.
Absolutely. I would really love to see you and Paul Oyama kind of dissect a match a little bit. That would be really cool.
That would be interesting. It'd be fun.
Yeah. You, him, and Frankie. That would be quite a trio.
Oof.
Oh, can you imagine? That'd be cool. Now, knowing that they are going to the third and final round, the founding fathers, knowing this, you can kind of see it on their face. Not only are they focused, but they are not exactly chill.
No. They're being very intense.
Yeah, they're very intense. They're trying to stay focused and everything. They have to get all of these questions in the third round in order to kind of bounce it back on, the final exam. And I'm sure it is also incredibly frustrating.
Yes.
That knowing these are two one current, one former belt holding champion going up against a rookie team.
Second season team.
Final exam?
Final exam was a team in 2019, were they not?
No, they had their first. No, this is their rookie team.
Yes. You are correct. I'm sorry. I've had too many other teams running through my heads at the moment. But yes, this is their rookie. They're not rookie competitors, but they are a rookie team.
Yes, very, very true. They are not rookie competitors. Polygama, obviously a former holder of the singles belt before Ben took it away, and then Dan took it back away from Ben, which is a whole thing. But this is a really interesting situation. Lon hasn't really, he's never gone up against either John or Dan Murrell. So this is really tough. And also this 3-point question, this is a hard question.
3-point question, Dance. Oh boy.
That actor that plays him, he hasn't been in a lot of movies. He was like in maybe 10 movies total, like Cruel Intentions, this one, and maybe a few TV movies. But
yep, I knew who played Sarah, but that's about as far as I got.
Yeah, that's all I got with Julia Stiles. But and Kerry Washington, it was her feature film debut.
Yes, it was, girl.
Oh yes. Very proud. I know that one.
Very good.
I feel like that should be its own category, like debuts, feature film debuts. So it should be like so it could be like a mixture of actors and directors, actors, actresses, and directors. Like, what is the feature film directorial debut of Rob Reiner?
Oh, Rob Reiner, that was this Spinal Tap, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, but yeah, it would be like things like that because I think that would be cool. But I digress. That's a category that I want.
I see.
All right. And they have to get this 5-point question.
Now,
big question.
Now, this question does prove why they are still a top-level team.
And this is also from the 5-point question being from the 1980s. In Young Guns, who plays the benevolent ranch owner John Tunstall, who hires young gunmen from the road in order to civilize them? And this is a Western question.
I'll say it is a low-key Westerns question, which is definitely in Roka's wheelhouse. So
he better get it. It's his. It's an active strength of his. It's not a low-key Western. It's a major key Western. It's a very popular Western question.
Yes.
So, okay.
So they're making these guys earn it, which is what you want. You want to make your opponent beat you in this final round. If you're down, you make them come out and beat you.
All right, Paul's going to take this first question being a 2-pointer, which is...
Or I think does Lon take this one? It's a 2-point horror.
Is it Lon? Okay, my bad.
I think so.
You're right.
Whichever.
Right, it is one.
Yeah, he takes the horror question because...
Craig T. Nelson. I forgot about this question. Craig T. Nelson. I'm so proud. It's Craig T. Nelson.
Yes.
Mr. Incredible.
Yes. I appreciate that Lon gets a chance to kind of redeem the horror category for what happened in the singles tournament. I was very happy that he was able to do that.
It would have been really funny if the final exam ended up going against Deception. Like, that would have been. Can you imagine?
Oof. Oh boy. Yeah, because Well, Polyama knocked Marisol out of the singles tournament, and then Adam knocked Lon out of the singles tournament. So, oh yeah.
Can you imagine the tension?
Oof.
But also, Adam also knocked off, he's going to be knocked off, Jesus. He also knocked John off of the tournament, but also is going to compete against Dan here in December.
So, oh, yes. Oof.
That would, either way, it would have been a lot of tension.
Absolutely.
Holly Hunter was nominated for 2 Oscars for films released in 1993. One was The Piano, and the other was what? This is a great question.
Yes.
And I love The Piano.
I did not know it, but it was a very well-worded question. So, and that is what clinched it for him.
Look at Paul. Look at that excitement.
Oh, yes. He is back in his groove, and he's loving it.
Oh, gosh. Taco.
And Taco. Oh. Winston. Love it.
Oh, gosh. So good.
Now, I love, we don't necessarily jump a ton into I love that he references his first teams match with Stacey Howard in Anarchy when Founding Fathers beat him when he was on Wait, I Know This. The fact that he brings that up, again, the statistician, the Schmoedown history was just like, oh, nice pull, sir. Nice pull.
I see what you did there. I see.
Yes, I see what you did.
The sports, the great sportsmanship from Founding Fathers as well. Of course. I am going to go ahead and pull this off, real quickly here while I actually pull off the banner real fast. Now,
hello.
I don't know where that.
We're now purple.
Indeed, purple. Why is it like it just changed to the thingamajig? I don't know. That's funky. Anyway, but
here we are.
One of my big takeaways from these matches, again, I kind of mentioned before, I really do think that this is the best teams tournament we've ever had. Never before in a tournament have we seen so many really fantastic matches, like across the board. So much drama, active drama before in the individual teams, competitors, managers, and all that good stuff that really kind of translated well, for the matches and the tournaments, but also individual performances. I think Marisol is one of the shining stars, even though Adam Collins, obviously shining star of the singles tournament. Marisol took control of her matches, being part of Deception.
Absolutely. Yeah, she definitely proved that she can come in and hang with the best of them. She has so much more room to grow, and that should make everyone nervous.
I do think that I totally agree. I think, again, like we kind of talked about earlier, that, Winston has some really big decisions to make. Obviously, he's going to try to, I'm sure both him and Shannon are going to try to make some serious trades in order to get a hold of the competitors that not only they really fostered and really created.
That is the most frustrating part, I think, for this whole thing, because you have all these great rookies that have been brought up, and it's like, but I might lose them. And someone else gets to reap the benefits of what I did all year. Yeah, I wouldn't be happy about that.
If there is one thing I could change, not so much change about the potential draft, is that I would love to incorporate contracts into the draft.
Like multiple season contracts?
Yes, multiple seasons. It's just like what they do in, any professional sport, baseball, football, tennis or anything like that. Well, maybe not tennis, but that's what they do. They, you sign on sometimes for one season as like a trial period, but sometimes you sign on for like a 6-season thing, unless there's unless there's a trade or unless there's like a situation where you're not pulling your end of the bargain, where you can be dropped, essentially from the faction. I would love that to be incorporated. I don't think it's going to happen, obviously.
No, maybe not this year, definitely, but that is an interesting concept to look into and to consider, definitely.
That's something I really, especially if we're going to go in towards the direction of being more sports-like.
Mhm.
And I know
Right.
it's all about the storyline, the characters
Mhm.
takes precedence.
But that is also where you can work in there are the clauses in your contract that say you break a clause in your contract. That automatically brings drama of, well, you broke the contract, so you're getting traded away, yada, yada. You can build storylines around that and still maintain that contract sports aspect. So there's ways to do it. Whether or not they decide to go that direction remains to be seen, but definitely all for everything that's going to be happening rest of this season and into this off season.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Oh, we did get a super chat recently from Mr. Ben Rayner.
There he is again.
What's up? Feels weird how spectacular without Roca. Happy for final exam. But yeah, sad no Roca personally.
I'll say this will be the first spectacular that we have not seen him. But I would not, yes, it is unfortunate that one of the legends will not be there. But again, based on those little pre-cut scenes we saw before both matches, I think we're going to have plenty of drama come spectacular.
Girl, do it. Girl. I kind of been very vocal about it from the beginning, is that I love, we've had a lot of, I have to be that person, but I mean, we've been recycling quite a bit when it comes to Schmoedown Spectaculars, and that's not a bad thing. It's just that, a lot of the same people have been winning, and
yes,
and I love having so much new blood, or just blood that we've never seen have a belt, or whatever it might be. Like Shazam winning teams. Oh,
yeah. So happy for them.
So much.
Yes.
So excited. I love to see that happen. And not to mention, these are two competitors. Not only they deserve it, obviously, but they're so incredibly talented. I'm excited to see that really happen. But yeah, Roca is incredibly talented, but I'm glad we are seeing a lot of fresh blood, for a spectacular this year.
And that is something that's definitely come out of this kind of new era, this digital era of the Schmoedown. It's allowed, just thinking back to the singles tournament, Liz Shannon Miller, she has been one of the big standouts for me from this tournament, just how well she did. And so many other competitors have just been able to be brought to the forefront because they're able to get more exposure, even with everything that's gone on this year. So yes, it is sad to not see certain OG competitors in the main final event, but it's also a chance for some new people to start coming in. And you're always going to have those OGs that are going to pop in. Even if it's just appearances and scenes, they're always going to be around. And I think for the league to continue to grow as a sport and to bring in new people, bringing in these younger personnel, not younger necessarily in age, but younger to the league, to just keep the momentum going moving forward.
Yes, I totally 100% agree. It's good always to have new blood. It's just like, like with anything, any company, any group of people, whatever it might be, to really expand, try new things, and obviously get some new blood in there in order to adapt to the new times. So much new blood. I'm excited. Not only that, I do want to specify that, everyone that is succeeding is genuinely succeeding. No one is being like, Adam doesn't deserve this. Like, Adam's such a new guy. He doesn't deserve to be a spectacular. Like, that's not a conversation people are having. Like, that's also a stupid thing to have.
They should not be having this conversation.
Yeah. Like, these competitors are fantastic and they deserve to be at spectacular. And, so I'm really just so genuinely happy for these competitors and managers and everything to really kill it this season. Okay.
And with that, I'm going to say, and the only thing else I'll say with that is, with that, I'm super excited to see those people that have excelled really well this year, see them get to spread their wings even further when we do get back in the studio, when we get into the live events. It gives these people that have started to blossom as stars in this season continue and to really rise to the top of the tier when we get back into those events that make the Schmoedown what we've begun with and what it was meant to be.
Now, speaking of what, like going back with Schmoedown, being with what it's meant to be, with the potential, with new blood and all this good stuff, it sounds like, we're really creating all these new stories for Schmoedown fan fiction, which brings on to our final segment of the evening, which is fan fiction. So if you don't know what Schmoedown fan fiction is, because buckle up, Buttercup, because it's my favorite segment of the night. Schmoedown fan fiction is where we chat potential storylines that could emerge from these particular matches. Something we would love to see happen, something you think will happen, or something that, was kind of hinted at during the match that you think that could, possibly kind of grow from there. Now, for example, one of the little Schmoedown fan fiction that I ended up creating in this instance is Andrew Guy potentially ended up creating a Schmoeminati faction per se. Yes. And he ends up being an advisor or manager for next season, honestly. So that is my tea there. I also want to mention a little fan fiction regarding from this match in particular is that I think Founding Fathers are going to be separated. And I think I think they're both going to request to go with a different manager. And I think they're also going to be drafted to separate factions.
I would agree there. I could definitely see this happening, and definitely would make things interesting. Because yes, they have had an amazing run together as a team, but I could absolutely see both of them maybe wanting to try something different. They've been in this league together for quite some time. And if you want to, you have to continue to adapt with this new era of the game. So I think I see them kind of reading the signs of the times that maybe for both of them, being on the Finstock Exchange may not be the best thing for them. And maybe they both have different ideas of what they want moving forward, which will ultimately lead to them wanting to go to different factions. Lovely drama that can come from this.
Yeah, and not to mention, you can't forget that even Roka, he mentioned in his post-match interview, specifically saying, hey, in theory, this should be fantastic. We did great and everything, but, we're not returning to where we should be. And maybe it's just not clicking the way it used to be. And we need to consider other options. There's nothing, there's nothing wrong. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with Finstock. There's nothing wrong with Founding Fathers. There's nothing wrong with me or Meryl. It's just maybe this is not the right time for us. And, I'm like,
your little mind wheel started turning.
Fan fiction being written. There you go.
Yes.
Do you have any other stories, or do you think that's it?
Those were the big ones I think that I pulled from these as well. So I think we've about covered the big ones. But again, always up to be surprised by something different.
All right. Okay, guys, we are going to be wrapping this up with a nice little bow. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. And we're just going to be, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, whatever it may be, if you have any fan fictions you'd like to tell us, we'd love to hear them. Please let us know in the super chat, and just hang out in the chat and just let us know. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
It's been great. It's been a long one today.
Yeah, it's over 2 hours.
Two matches. What can we say?
I am looking also for that match, and I am not finding it on here.
Oh,
girl, you want to watch after we get done recording? You want to watch the match?
Ooh,
together?
Yeah, actually, I do. That would actually be so much fun.
Guys, plans made. We're going to head out here in a few minutes. Okay, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We really appreciate y'all are amazing. And yes, that is essentially like 10 minutes in C2A time.
Absolutely.
Realistic. And Megs, where can we find you, your beautiful face, and all your fantastic stats, girl?
Yes, so most of the stats, you can find them on the Movie Trivia Schmoedown Facebook pages, as well as the fan fiction for the factions Facebook pages. If you want to follow along with me personally, I do put my stats up on my personals on Instagram and Twitter under Megs_reclaimed. So if you want to hang out with me there, feel free. And as always, you can find me here on the Call to Action channel doing breakdowns with the lovely Miss Alex Mack. And where can we find you?
You can find me tonight on Cinema Bias, where we're chatting. Where we're going to be doing a whole bunch of stuff, diving into one of the first action adventure movies we've covered on Cinema Bias, which is Fast 5. I've never saw the movie until yesterday. I never seen any of the sequels until yesterday.
Okay.
So, and Drew already messaged me. She was like live tweeting the entire experience, and she like watched the entire franchise in a span of like 48 hours. So, it's gonna be a fun one.
That's intense.
Yeah. I also host a show here on C2A called Schmobates, where we dive into like debates and topics and all that good stuff. So definitely come hang out with us. We'd appreciate it.
Yes, and also if you don't have anything else going on, over on Twitch.
Yeah,
Nat and Dylan are going to be doing stuff over there, so switch on over there if you'd like.
Hashtag Nat and Dylan ain't qualified, okay? Not qualified. True.
We let them do their own little thing over there, but let's be real. It's
not qualified. Okay, guys, we're going to go watch this match. So thank you so much for hanging out with us. Please like and subscribe. Also, remember that you can get C2A merch for the holidays. So just giving y'all a heads up, that'd be pretty dope. And it's also like 25% off or something like that. So that's pretty cool. And also, we'd really appreciate if you checked us out on audio podcasts. We're available like on Anchor and Apple and a whole bunch of stuff. We're right. If I can find it, that'd be great. We're right here. Bam,
there we
bam.
are.
Our most recent episode of Chilled Action with Abby For Real. She's up there. And so we'd appreciate if you come and subscribed and left us a little rating. So that'd be pretty darn dope. Guys, thank you again. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.